So we are gonna take off 6A5 summer hours, and then we're gonna add, cleaning contract, putting out for, in the newspaper, like soliciting for the cleaning, a new cleaning contract, or proposals. Yep. I just want to say there's an updated claims list that just has the check numbers on it now that I emailed earlier, and then at Al at home e-check. Yes. Aye. Okay, so just, I know we've talked about this at previous meetings, just a little bit of a summary. During the 2018 audit, it was determined that some funds had the potential to be closed due to lack of use and need. Those funds have balances in them that would be transferred, or two of the funds have balances in them that would be transferred to other accounts for future use. There is one account that has a negative balance that would be zeroed out. My memo says from the general fund. That's kind of what we were previously discussing, but that's the discussion we'll have tonight. The following transfers are proposed. I provided an updated resolution. So we would close Fund 400 and transfer the fund balance of $43,867.86 into the 405 Street Improvement Fund. That 400 fund was for 70th Street improvements, Street Improvement Fund, so that would just be transferred into the Street Improvement Fund. And then there was a fire department FEMA grant that had a negative balance. A little update on that. I did work with Abdo to kind of look at what happened there. Again, we were just trying to get some better details on it. We don't, according to them and staff, there isn't any fraud or anything going on. It's just we think that we just can't determine if too much was expended or we didn't get enough grant funds that we thought we would. So we just don't really know. We have the detail, which is in your packet, of the funds that came in and came out, but we just don't know what happened, really, and I don't know if there's any way that we can figure out, what actually happened during that, the bringing in the funds and then paying for the project. And so I think in previous meetings there was concern over pulling, we would zero that account out by pulling funds from the general fund. So I know there was discussion on possibly doing it from the fire truck, that reserve fund that we have set up for the fire fund, since it was a fire department expense. And then also the city had Fund 222, which is Old Schoolhouse Park. The balance in that was $5,486.33, and we're recommending that just goes into the general park improvement fund. And so we're just trying to clean up these funds, like I said, just closing funds that were opened, and now just cleaning it up per audit, recommendation.
I mean, you want them now or later?
It's just unacceptable that we can't figure this out. There's no reason why we can't. We're not, it's a fair amount of money. There should be some reason, there must be some way to know where this money went or what happened.
Like I said, I think it was just like me and the auditor said, we think it either we just paid too much for the project or we didn't get enough funds in to pay for the project.
We don't keep paperwork, we don't keep bills, we don't
I mean,
keep
I don't,
invoices.
I mean, like I said, I wasn't here like when this happened, so it's really that puts some difficulty into it. I did look through the files. I can't find the data that we're looking for. And
So we don't even know what the project was.
the project was hold on. Well, from what I can gather, it was FEMA funds to purchase equipment for the fire department.
Equipment.
Mhm.
So, how much is the balance in their fund that they have that is a donation fund? Like the donations that they get in? They have a fund that
Currently,
quite a
I
bit of
think it's
money.
at like 23,000.
That's at 23,000?
Yeah.
So, why would it come out of the fire truck fund and not that?
I mean, it can come out of that one too. It can come out of either one. Those
And
are
has
the
Rod
two.
been consulted at all?
He hasn't. No. This was just a discussion that I had today about it possibly coming out of that fund. And I think in the past, from what I could gather at other council meetings, it was kind of discussed as well. Is this a fire department expense
Right.
or something to cover through the fire department
Right.
instead of general fund?
I guess I just think it should come out of their donations and not the truck fund, unless it's something that they bought.
I mean, their truck fund is essentially anything they haven't spent throughout the year. Any of that money, it gets transferred into the truck fund. So
Oh,
that's kind of
sure,
their
yeah.
general fund.
Yeah, that's
That
true,
they-
okay. Yeah, I get it.
I mean,
So-
I get the frustration. I really do.
So are we saying that he is unaware that we're gonna transfer this money out of that fund?
He is unaware that we would be pulling money out of that fund.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that either. He might have some answers on what the project was or what was, I don't know, Sure.
Have we reached out to FEMA to see if there's any grant paperwork available?
I haven't reached out to FEMA.
I would like to see us figure out where this money went, what it was for.
I mean, okay.
Somebody's gotta have records somewhere.
I'd reach out to Rod too,
Right.
probably remembers,
Well, we did,
once he sees the paperwork,
have we talked to the fire chief about asked him about this?
I mean, he's aware that we did get the FEMA funds and we did spend the money, but I mean, I've looked here for a paper trail. I mean, that's one reason why, we're gonna go towards more digital, which is great, 'cause we can keep all this stuff in one place, but, I can,
and we
I
think the
can
money was spent in what year?
2014
2014?
and 2015.
And 2015?
Yeah, I think if you look at page 27, there's some more kind of information on the type of equipment that was purchased.
Continuing on the agenda, I'll open it up if someone would like to make a motion to approve resolution 3-25-23-16.
I think Rod should weigh in here, and at least choose a fund that it's gonna come out of.
I'm reading the work session minutes from March 2015. And it looks like that the SCBA equipment was purchased through
any numbers in there?
The only number in here is contacted retail purchasing CDS equipment, they do not want a Ranger model, they only have 4, and then one has the certified use rep. Another option would be to advertise on eBay, this is a larger market, this is 2022. Sounds like it was for the upgrade new equipment, according to March 23rd.
Maggie, when you're researching, are you going in and kinda just doing a,
No, I
Search
mean,
for
I've been
FEMA
looking for a minute
see what
too.
comes- oh,
Right, right, and I just,
nothing's coming up?
I'm
We
not
had to have
getting-
approved it somewhere down the road.
yeah, and I don't think there was a I've been looking for resolutions and I can't find anything in resolutions either, so. Yeah.
Please.
Okay, so just a little update, we did talk about this once at the last meeting, council asked for additional information regarding the location of the generator, and I did include a picture on page 29. So CarverLink is looking at the installation of a generator. Their contribution to the generator would be $13,800. They have worked with other cities as well to, if the city was interested in doing an upgrade, they would pay their portion and then the city would pick up the remaining. In our case, in order to get a generator that would supply the whole building, it would be $23,800, so we would pay $10,000. I did talk with CarverLink and or Randy at CarverLink, and he said that that would cover the installation and the parking pad. And it would be a 3-foot by 6.5 feet pad that would be poured next to the building. The generator would have a 5-year warranty and 2 years of included maintenance. They will be purchasing it. We would reimburse $10,000, but then they would put our name in the generator. So like the warranty and the maintenance contract would be in our name. So like we would be responsible for ongoing maintenance after the installation is complete. So they're just looking for yes. Yep. So they would be looking for us to move forward, or if we're interested in moving forward with the upgrade at this time. And the upgrade would power all of City Hall, which could be then seen as a emergency location for residents, in case something happens in the city. I think they did.
Okay spot, is that where we want it?
I don't.
Any thoughts on being right there?
It's right on the side of the building.
Right up there?
Yeah, it's
Right where the fire department sets up the stand, isn't it? For the,
Right next to the dumpster?
yeah,
Yeah.
right in front of
Yeah.
it, like on the corner of the building. And then what about people backing up there and trying to get in with, you know,
Go
stuff?
back by the tower a little more, that area back there.
I don't know why I can't do that.
Yeah, like that whole electrical unit right there.
here, Kyle. I mean, it's in that corner.
And
I mean,
it's
right
huge,
here
it's
more.
like in the way.
But it's the garbage.
We put like those big
Yeah, sorry. I don't think so.
Look how much room it takes up. Like you can,
Right, yeah, I think at a minimum we need some posts up there.
And I don't even know if it's that large.
oh, you don't think, is that the pad? But still.
Pad is 3 feet by 6.5 feet.
You could fence it in and, you know, there's little,
Or maybe not even
but I mean, just to think of
Where's the door? Where's the door that goes, the double door?
Back
It's
in the,
behind
oh, on the
it.
other
those
side.
doors for the gym are on the other side.
The back around.
Yeah, I think the spot shown on there is
Maybe
way
have it
larger
back up
than
there.
what it
Like
would
when
be.
you guys have fish fries or?
Yeah, that's more like, if you look at like the size of that car, yeah.
I would feel comfortable if we had like concrete posts or garbage can cans or
No, because that's I mean, it's not a terrible cost, it's just, we got used to it. Right. But we can put up, you know, privacy fencing or anything, cosmetic things, so we'll, like, or we put boulders up back for it.
Any other comments? Maybe how, is there any, when we turned over top to us, is there any length of time when we use this, what if in 6 years when the warranty's up, the thing breaks down completely and we decide, hey, we don't want to replace it, we don't need it, does Carver Link have they want any length of time, are they concerned with it?
I think they just want us to use it as long as we can. They didn't, I asked him like, you know, is this supposed to be a verbal thing? And he's just like, you know, with every other city, all we've done is we've just given it over and put us on the warranty, and that's all they've done, so.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, for the tower lease.
Okay, so, tower lease. So this came to the work session, at the last meeting. So the council, just a little refresher, has discussed the tower lease, the last year, at a work session and then a regular meeting. Tower Alliance, right now, there is a contract that I provided in the packet. Right now, we currently have like a $6,000 per year contract. We do get a 3% increase each year, and then for any subtenants that they have, we get 25% and they get 75% of that. So what they're looking for is an extension on their current agreement. So they're wanting to do I think they originally wanted to do a 30. Now we were concerned about the length of that, and so they did it back to 20, which would be 5-year increments or 5-year terms, and then they would do a $40,000. The last one was a $35,000 signing bonus. This time would be 40. So it looks like they're unwilling to extend it any less than 20 years. I think they want to be marketable. They want to be able to get people in for the long term as subtenants. And we're not really sure if they would go any higher than the additional 5,000. And right now, the current lease does not will not expire until 2034. But they're hoping to obviously extend that to 2054. So at this time, just looking for additional discussion and maybe a determination if staff should move forward with an agreement with them that would include the 20 years and then the $40,000 signing bonus. I did provide a memo that I had written last year, just kind of breaking down what we make every year, or what we're kind of making every year, and then kind of what that amount was at the time. So So it does look like we're kinda making about $35,000 right now a year, from AT&T, T-Mobile, and American Tower. So American Tower is who we're, talking about tonight. Yeah, so I guess the discussion would be, are you guys looking to move forward with them? Oh, sorry.
We resolve this, and we'll discuss this at the work session.
Yeah, but it has to come
What does that come here for?
because it's a decision.
Well,
I don't think we've made a final decision.
I was under the impression they were gonna go back then and start working out the contract and sign the contract.
I talked with the attorney and we decided that it needs, like, because it's like a directing staff, just to be, like, have a formal motion directing staff to move forward with this. So, yeah, we did have that discussion at the last meeting, but
We need a motion to move forward and to have them.
if you're okay with the 40,000, yeah, a contract that would include the 40,000 and being okay with that 20-year length.
And I've done some research on this, and this will cost, involved here with us, American Tower is Emory University, there was $53,000 different sites, the one with the most people by 2 years, 6,000 megahertz right now. So, and the people that I talked to last Sunday had recommended that we renegotiate for, 2019, so I agree with that. That American Tower is going to be,
All right, someone like to make a motion on how to direct the staff.
I will make that motion to, work with them on getting the lead at $40,000 for our attorney's recommendation.
For 20 years, or $40,000 training.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, 6A4.
Okay, so this is a request that was put out to all the cities, from the League of Minnesota Cities. They're kind of our, lobbyists at the state level. They kind of, advocate for all cities. Right now they're doing a, one that's more focused on smaller cities. So, just a little background. They're, asking small cities to look at and discuss the resolution in this packet that would request, comprehensive road and transit funding from the state of Minnesota. What that means is they're looking at the smaller cities like us that rely heavily on property taxes and special assessments for street reconstruction. And sometimes special assessments can be really tricky to implement because it's based on the added value of property owners and there's a lot of work that goes into it. So the existing funding mechanism for street maintenance and reconstruction according to League is inadequate and staff would have to agree, as we're moving forward with our street projects or our planning, it is expensive and finding that funding is tough. So the League itself is proposing here I'll bring it up on page 63, some funding mechanisms that they think would help increase that local government funding for small cities. Apologize. Sorry, that's really light. I'll read it off. It's just they're proposing any of the three options that like a $10 surcharge on license tab fees and motor vehicle title transfers. That would raise $57 million annually to be split between existing small cities and large cities. Authority for cities to establish street improvement districts to fund maintenance, construction, and reconstruction, or the creation of a local cost share assistance account within local road improvement program to provide grants to local government that would help with the local share of some trunk highway projects. And so right now, the state legislature appropriates 8 million, for the account and, distributes it to cities under 5,000. Last year, we did receive about 17,266. That does go into our street improvement, fund. And so, and like I said, there's about 704 cities under the population of 5,000 that this fund supports. And so what they're trying to do is they're just trying to get more funding for small cities like us who rely on those taxes to fund these projects. So they just asked me to bring this to the council just as a, if you read the resolution of support, it would just support getting more funding at the state level for cities like us for our reconstruction of streets and our maintenance. So what we would do is if we did support this, we would send this to Tim Walz and other representatives in the county and ask just to support them at least discussing this and possibly putting more money in that fund for smaller cities. In the packet I did provide a little bit of information about the program and provided by the league, and then some small cities grant information, the history on that. There's also the resolution of support, so that's just in front of you today to discuss, and if you're in favor of it, I would suggest moving forward with approving that resolution, then we would contact our representatives to support that moving forward.
This resolution written from by the league.
This is yes, this was written by the league. I did read through it. Hold on. The one on 68 and 69, yep. So it's kind of their breakdown of why it's important, how many cities would be impacted, and the struggle that small cities have at this time with funding street improvements.
Resolution intent is to support the comprehensive road transit funding.
Yep.
But not necessarily agreeing or supporting the three options there.
I think what it would do is it would support them talking, like them bringing this to them at the state level, and it would support that they need to do something. The league, I think, then is going to propose that they at least look at the options that they're going to lobby for those three options. Yep.
Any other questions? I'll look for a motion to approve resolution 3-25-19-17. Comprehensive road transit funding request.
And I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with it, you don't have to. It's just an option that they're looking for.
I think it's a great idea, we definitely can use the money. My concern is that, that money actually goes where it's supposed to go. So, I would support that verbally, but not actually making a motion or something like that.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 3-25-19.
I'll second it.
Motion second, okay, any further discussion?
I guess I'm with Eric because I think, it wasn't last year, it was before that, the county commissioner came. And was saying that the Met Council has not been giving us, our county any funding for our roads, and he's been wanting support for adding a wheelage tax to pay for our own roads, and now we've got, the Minnesota City basically saying, we can help get all this money, but then it's gonna go to the Met Council because they don't have any support for Crawford County, so
Well, this is.
I'm not sure the two are related.
Yeah, 'cause this one's municipal state aid, so we already get funding from them, so we would just be getting more funding. So we get a yearly amount each year already.
But then according to the county commissioner's plan and all the roads that we had laid out in the lead through 2025
Yeah,
or 2030.
MnDOT was not looking to do any additional funding for outstate metro.
Right.
So that's why they came to us and added the extra wheelage tax fee. so we could work on State Highway 212,
Right, and I would,
the state road.
right, and I would say that their funding is separate,
Oh, it is separate, but,
but,
It's not coming here,
right.
like it's supposed to be.
and I mean, I think that's,
Not necessarily, but
I think that's why this is what the league is trying to do here is to, like, so MinNut is their own entity. They pay for their projects. I understand that they're not spending as much money here, but I think this would help us with our actual local streets.
so this is supposed to
Right.
go to cities under 5,000, which a lot of Carver County is out of that right there. So the whole county thing and this, I don't think are that related. And if you're worried about money going to where it's supposed to, or us getting money at all, if we don't approve this, there is no money coming in at all. I mean, no support for this means no extra money given to the government to give to us. Is that,
Right, so if it does go to the state and they do agree, you know, to do either that $10 on tabs or whatever, and they do bring in that revenue stream, yeah, you know, if it doesn't go through, then there is no change. It'll just say, we'll get the money that I think they do 8 million already, so they'll probably maintain that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to increase the pot, like the money in that pot for small cities to then get more funding. So it's just trying to get, and what they're saying there is those are ways that they're going to get the increase.
I mean, if we could keep them to it, and if it passes and we get the help, I think that's great. I'm just, looking at the February 27, 2017 minutes with, Carver County, and, very clearly states federal will not help to add any lanes for the next 20 years. That council policy is driving the lack of funding to keep people from performing the 494 loop. And
That's what I think. I'm looking at this, I think, more like negative than all that, I think is true. And to try to get around that now is to set up this other fund to try to get some money out to these communities under 5,000.
and what's nice is it's not going to the county, it's going to the cities.
I don't necessarily, I don't think I have enough information right now. One, I don't like the option.
Right, I don't
I'm
agree.
not concerned with the $10 surcharge option because we just added that in Carver County. So I'm concerned on that, so I'm not, I think I need more information right now. Right now, I don't think I can support it.
I mean, we could have
I
somebody,
think I know what they're doing,
right,
and I think I know the intent of it, and it's to set up a separate fund to get these under 5,000 population of money outside of the MnDOT funding. But I just don't think I have enough information right now.
yeah, I could
to
see
get
if,
behind it, and I certainly don't like that first option.
yeah.
And I'm concerned with it, this fund was set up in 2015, and we've got, in 2018, we did get one payment. Where was
We did.
2016, 17, seems we weren't getting some of that funding.
No, we got funding, I just didn't put it up there. We get about a little bit every year.
Oh, we've been getting it every year.
Mhm.
That's been going to the street fund.
I don't know if it's been going, cause we just set up the street fund, so it's going into, I don't know if it went into our general fund or,
I think that's a miss there, because I don't recall ever hearing about it. We should have street fund set up specifically back with what this is, but I don't have enough information. I don't feel comfortable right now with it, with those options.
yeah, I could see if somebody from the league could actually come out.
I think I would like to see more of the actual, for both the, and the, instead of just a little bit out, but like really have to see a little bit more on what they,
I mean,
I guess for me, I guess I'm just skeptic based on the information I've given you here today, so. I think it's great.
I think the intent there, and I think it's where the direction I want to see things go, but I just don't have comfortable enough with the information. Any other comments, questions, discussion? All right, we have a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion fails, 1-3. That will
Okay, so, as you know, we did, in February, we did, pass have a motion to cut our contract with Men's Services. So now, that their contract officially ends on March 31st, and I agree, I should have had this on the last meeting, but, now we're just requesting that we can put it out for proposals again, that staff can reach out to get those proposals again, to then, hopefully get somebody back on board, Union City Hall.
Second. Where did you advertise last time?
I think I know we did a lot of our own calling, so I contacted people personally, so I reached out to other cities, and I was asking who they worked with, and so I did a lot of contacting that way. We also worked with Tom for him to reach out to people to see if they were interested, 'cause I know we wanted to try and keep it local. I know this time we'll probably do more of the newspaper.
So we're
Newspaper and
so we
newsletter.
did no newspaper, no social media. So this time we'll
No.
try social media, newspaper, possibly get a local bonded company, insured company.
Yep.
But the last person we had that worked out was not insured,
They weren't.
correct?
No, they should have been,
Commenson?
'cause they had their own company, right?
It's just,
I don't know.
I would say no. That was just, someone who does cleaning or does maintenance that we hired. It was a
'Cause
contract.
they had their, well, I don't know, their, well, we'll make sure this time. Oh, Minnesota.
Okay, so what are we putting in the paper? I mean, are we gonna go with pricing,
Well,
just kinda
usually
keep
we
it?
just do, the last time we had people come in to look at the facility, and then they offered kinda what they thought it would cost, what they're gonna propose for the,
Sure,
they'll quote it, and then it'll come back to council.
all right.
Mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All right, I don't think it's D1 annual report of wastewater treatment plant.
Okay,
Yep.
so we got, Greg, here he wants to, we'll start with the, annual report with Greg.
Evening, Mayor, members of the council. You have before you tonight, my annual report of operation and maintenance for the wastewater treatment plant for the, year 2018. Most of the things listed there were completed by myself, Mayor Public Works employee, Kyle Kuntz, past employee Brent Mikolajczyk, and, our current employee, Jason Hilgers. In September of 2018, the latest phase of the wastewater treatment plant began its 13th year of operation. Since that phase of startup in 2005, the wastewater treatment facility has received 18 operational awards, and it will be receiving its 19th award on Wednesday at the annual wastewater operators seminar in the Northland Inn in Brooklyn Center. I just wanted to explain, if you look at these numbers and you see the number of awards compared to the plant, the reason why we're receiving our 19th is because it goes back all the way to our first phase of the plant, which was put in place in 1999, and it also includes when we were still on our stabilization pond, so we received some awards back from those days too. So, within the report, We also list items of interest such as the current budget status for the year end, plant removal rates, annual flows, biosolids removed, required maintenance, as well as reports and sampling. And we also, every year, we try to include items that we saved money on for the year. Under our general wastewater treatment facility information, under the 2018 budget, the wastewater treatment facility portion of the sewer budget for 2018 was $244,865. In looking at our year-end actual budget, we came in at $180,440. An explanation for that reduction was due to capital improvement projects that we had scheduled for the year that actually took place at the tail end of 2018. And you will see some of those coming in actually with an amount of $46,637. And you will see those reflected, and then some of them have already started to come in 2019. So we couldn't get them into the budget for 2019 just based on, or 18 based on when they were done. The 2018 flows to the wastewater treatment facility were 55.28 million gallons compared to 54.62 million gallons in 17. Our biosolids disposal was 319,000 gallons compared to 261,000 in 2017. As always, from startup, our removal rates are 99% on our BOD removals and our total suspended solids. And a 20-year capital improvement plan was developed for the wastewater treatment facility in 2015, and capital improvements from the plan are identified in the annual wastewater treatment budget as listed in the plan. One of the things, an item of interest that I wanted to bring up when we talked about biosolids, if you look at the amount of biosolids that we removed for 2018, I didn't put it in the report, but I do want the council to take note that I think it's important that in 2020 we start looking at some maybe, or researching some additional storage for the wastewater treatment facility as far as biosolids storage. Our capacity is 330,000 gallons out there, and as you can see, in a year's time, we've came close to meeting that. And in these cold years, we've had some issues with, settling rates. We've been adding additional chemicals to try to give us some additional storage out there. Stepping back, it doesn't mean that we can't haul out more often to the facilities that we do, transfer to now, but it wouldn't be at a very efficient to do that. So I think it's just important, and it was in the long-range plan for our next phase of our facility, that the biosolids storage building would be something that would be the first in place. And it was because we used our existing first phase facility for biosolids storage. Everything is piped out there to the north of the plant to receive a biosolids storage building. So we haul it out biannually, spring and fall. So if a new facility was put in, pretty much the planning or the design of a new biosolids storage building would be to hold a year's worth of biosolids and not have to rely on just an annual removal, because there's conditions that can prevent you from, especially in the spring when you have a spring like this where if you had a significant rain or the fields are late getting in to spread the biosolids, that it would hold us up and we wouldn't be able to get it out, and that creates capacity problems. So I think it's just important to start looking at it, start the wheels turning and looking at it. Doesn't mean that it has to be built next year, but I think it's a good thing to take a look at, start planning for. The cost-saving projects I was referencing, in May of 2017, Kyle and Brent installed all aeration basin diffusers. That should have been in May of 2018. The tanks were pumped down using our new portable pump that the city purchased. After that big rain event we had, we purchased a large pump. That was used in this project, and we replaced all the aeration basin nozzles, which saved us approximately $6,000. And when I talk about that, that's referencing having a contractor. The first time that we had them done, we saw a savings of $6,000 by doing it in-house. They have to be done every 6 years, or around that time is when they're scheduled to be replaced. So that was a significant savings. I think that project went well. The crew did a good job in draining it down, transferring solids, and taking care of that. Next item we got listed is our annual permit for the wastewater treatment facility. We had budgeted $10,000 in our budget last year for engineering costs to write our new 5-year application for a permit for our plant, and also to create a mercury minimization plan, which had to be submitted along with it. After looking at it, we felt, and we had some meetings with the engineers, we felt we could tackle that project in-house, and we did do that. We've submitted it. It was received by the MPCA, and they acknowledged that it was been submitted in completeness, and so we are waiting to hear back from them right now. Our actual old permit expired in January of 2019, but it's not uncommon for us not to hear anything. Some cities are waiting up to 2 years for their permits to be renewed. So I'll be seeing our permit writer down there on Wednesday, and so I'll be having a conversation with him and finding out where we're at with it. So further on in the report here, I've listed some things that we do daily, weekly, and monthly. These are kind of repetitive things that we do. Also quarterly, biannual work in here, and annual work. We've also at the end I've included a monthly, by-month equipment repair log, January through December, and this is major items other than the ones that are listed previously here in the quarterly, biannual, and annual report. So there's a lot of things there. I'm not going to go through all those month by month, but if you have any questions on anything, or if you picked anything out in that monthly repair log that I can answer a question on, I'd be happy to. But with that, as always, I appreciate the business. The plant's running well. I think we've got a nice facility out there, and I commend the council for listening and looking at the CIP and moving forward with the CIP items that we've identified. You got an expensive facility out there, and I think by doing that, you're going to have it for a long time, and for a lot longer than what the design life of it is. So, any questions?
What was the cost of the portable pump?
I'm going to refer that to Kyle because he went out and purchased that.
It was two separate. We got a centrifugal pump, and then we got a hydraulic submersible pump. And they were kind of both purchased together in order to bypass the maintenance station. I want to say the price of that was around $42,000, something like that.
Yeah, they were rather expensive, but it was.
We've used it multiple times already out there.
Yep.
In our two projects.
Mhm. But also.
Put it into play when we did bypass the maintenance station. That worked great. So we didn't have to. We tied into our force main, so now we don't have to release into the park wastewater. So now we can actually bypass the pumps and everything. Put this down in the manhole, feed it right to the force main, and pump it right to the wastewater plant. So.
Yeah, typically you would just, if you did a bypass, you just put a pump in at the lift station and pump it to the next upstream manhole. Well, we don't have that. We don't have that capability in Mayer. You'd have to go all the way out to the wastewater plant to get to that next upstream manhole. So.
We have one lift station.
Yep.
So once again, thank you for your service. It was a great year again.
Yep. You're welcome.
Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay. B6B tooling. All correct?
Mayor, members of the council, we have identified in the 2019 19 CIP, the painting of the wastewater treatment facility, pre-treatment building, the clarifier building, and also the tertiary building, ceiling and walls. And before I begin, I just wanted to make sure that you all got the updated quote that included the doors from B&L Utility Maintenance. You all received that? Apologize, but we didn't have that to begin with when we put out the memo. But we did receive it, so I think it's important that we got it in there, just based on the costs. For this project, we received 2 bids. They were from B&L Maintenance Company, or B&B, excuse me, Commercial Coating LLC, and also from R&H Painting LLC. And these were to pressure wash the walls, clean them up, and put 2 coats of macropoxy paint on the walls and ceiling. R&H Painting LLC for this project cost came in at $94,700. B&L Utility Maintenance came in at $34,527. Now, I know what you're all thinking. It's like, how can it be that much difference in this cost of this project? Well, if you'll remember, I presented a painting project last year, and it was the same item. It was the same 2 contractors. And that one was $37,700 compared to $6,300. But we did our homework. We looked. We got references from the, from places where these people had done work. The low bidder, I contacted the city of Hutchinson and Litchfield Public Utilities Companies, and both of them were very happy with the work that this company had did for them. So with that, we approved it. They moved forward. They did this job last year, painting on our tertiary building. Our aeration base and piping, and our lower level of the pre-treatment building. And I think Kyle will agree, they did a great job. I mean, we have no complaints with the work that they did. So, they are a small company, R&H is a large commercial painting contractor. I think it doesn't surprise me that they're that much more expensive. I did a lot of painting projects in my career. It doesn't surprise me that they are that high. But with that, they're gonna not only the ceilings and the walls, but they're gonna do the doors and all the doors and the door frames for $34,527.
With the same material.
Same materials,
That is
same
like, yeah.
macropoxy paint, pressure washing the walls, clean up. I mean, it's identical to what R&H is proposing.
And we're getting to the time where enough companies have enough work that don't necessarily need it, so
Yep.
they bid it high, and then I'll take it.
It's to our benefit.
All right, I'll look for a motion to approve the bid from B&B, painting for the amount of $34,527.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a motion, a second, any further discussion?
Can I just clarify that number 2, B&L Utility Maintenance is B&B?
Yeah, they changed
Commercial Coating
they changed
LLC.
their name.
Okay.
Their bid has
Yeah,
been-
they are now B&B and not B&L. Yep.
Alright.
And then, the budgeting, that you have the $55,517, is that just for painting, or are there other things?
No, that includes some other items in the CIP. That's a total CIP
So when we did
fund.
CIP, how were we close to 34.5?
We'll be very, very, we're right on line. The doors and the door frames was an additional $1,200, but other than the additional $1,200, the other monies were right on
You were right in?
right on the mark, because I had those proposals before I did the budget, so,
Okay.
yeah.
That's all I'm looking for, perfect.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
And you should be seeing, next meeting, you should be seeing I always send out a CIP project list and timeframes and when we're gonna be doing them and working on them. I was hoping to have that this week, and I forgot to include it to Maggie when I sent over all my memos, but you'll see it next meeting. So, just for your information.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, 6B1, grills.
Okay, so this commission item, the Park Commission has been discussing purchasing some park grills for Westridge Park for a while. They'd be located by the park shelter. They're hoping that Public Works would do the installation. I think some concrete and I think we're good to go. At the March 12th meeting, the Park Commission recommended to council purchasing a single and a double grill for Westridge Park not to exceed $1,500. The double grill would cost $700 and the single $4,200. The freight cost to deliver is about $250. So Public Works would need some concrete to install, but we're thinking the project would be at or around or under $1,500 total. And so they're recommending that council support this project at $1,500.
Motion to approve the purchase of the 2 grills, the 1 single and the 1 double, not to exceed $1,500. I'll make that motion. Motion second, any further discussion?
I was surprised at how much they cost. And never would've guessed that that's what a grill in the park costs.
They're pretty sturdy, but,
Right. Oh, yeah.
so, why are 2 necessary for that park? That one shelter? Right? Is this going near the shelter?
Yep.
I'm just curious.
I think they were discussing like if
Yeah.
if there are multiple people there or if it's somebody wants to has a bigger gathering, they would have to use the bigger one.
I just think it's a little bit of overkill.
The Antron's not here tonight to discuss, but I happened to be at the meeting. They had some discussion thinking 2 would be good. I tend to think it's a little excessive for that small park. We probably need to put, what they did indicate at the park board is they can easily be moved. So if it turns out
On a
they don't want
concrete
it, they can
pad?
be pulled up. They just put it down into a post, it's not a pad, it's just going down. But they said they can be out and then put it in a different park. So for that reason, I thought 2 was a little excessive, but
No, it'll never get moved.
Yeah, and there may be,
And so they had no plans to put one anywhere else, just in that park?
Right now they're waiting for Old Schoolhouse Park to kind of develop a little bit more with their plan. They're having a visioning session actually at their April meeting to kind of go over the parks a little bit more, especially Old Schoolhouse Park. They have some ideas, but they just no concrete plans at this time. So, but I know this has been one item that they've been talking about since last fall. So,
And then finally, I would wanna know where, like, is there something gonna be provided for the hot coals? Or the coals to be dumped into, or is that gonna be like all over the ground?
yeah, no, they I was gonna discuss that with Public Works. Their solution for that is to have like just a metal barrel that would be kind of supplied by right next to it, so they can just shovel it in, and then Public Works would have to do the
Cleaning,
disposal. But
yeah. Well,
You think
they aren't gonna empty the grills, they're just gonna leave them.
Do you think that some people would use one, a single grill, just have a tool off like somewhere, if we just put one in there?
I do, but,
I think they would too.
I think they want one at Old Schoolhouse Park. They're waiting until they finalize the shelter plans and stuff like that.
and I just think, I think one is enough. I do, one double's enough down there, but, seems like kind of excessive.
Yeah, maybe just
2
do
things
the
to
one,
clean.
the one double.
take it back. We can approve it and it should take it back. It's gonna take a while to get here and see what the costs are, but that's pretty low. All right, we do have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, council reports, Linda, anything to report on?
I just got notification
So moved.